The author is an active participant in the narrative, making keen and sometimes offbeat observations throughout Stiff. Roach interviews morticians, watches human cadaver dissection alongside medical students, and travels to China to investigate an urban legend that the White Temple restaurant sold dumplings made from human remains. Roach has written for National Geographic, Wired, Discover, New Scientist, the Journal of Clinical Anatomy, and Outside, among others.
Chapter 1, A Head is a Terrible Thing to Waste. Chapter 1 addresses using cadavers to teach surgical techniques. Mary Roach explains that objectification is the coping mechanism that allows surgeons to dissect something which so closely resembles a living human being. Chapter 5, Beyond the Black Box. Chapter 5 concerns the human remains of mid-air disasters. When the black box cannot tell a story of what happened to a downed plane, investigators must consult the human wreckage. Roach consults a book called Aerospace Pathology. She sees the kind of story that a corpse might tell based on the quality of its wounds. Chapter 10. Chapter 10 examines medical cannibalism. Roach mentions that the medical use of mummies is a well-documented fact, particularly in chemistry books of the 16th, 17th, and 18th century Europe. Audience. While human cadavers may not be for everyone, Roach's audience encompasses anyone who wishes to learn more about what happens to bodies donated to science, not just a medical audience. However, readers who are interested in crime shows or have an interest in forensics may be more suitable to read this novel. Purpose. There are many possible purposes of this book. The most prominent one is to educate people on what donating your body to science means and how helpful it can be to the scientific community. Although this novel is not trying to convince readers to donate their bodies to science, the author wants people to be properly informed. Logos. Roach repeatedly shows how logically the use of cadavers has had positive effects in the medical field as doctors get to practice with them. In the chapter, A Head is a Terrible Thing to Waste, Roach shows how doctors get practice on cadaver heads. Ethos. Roach uses ethos when she refers to well-renowned doctors and professors and tells her audience what they have said about cadavers. Psychologically, her audience would respond better to this fact rather than it just being Mary stating facts. Pathos. Roach uses pathos in her book as a rhetorical device, and she uses this to make her readers numb to the fact that cadavers are dead people. Although the term cadaver is the proper term for a dead body, she could have said dead body and make her readers less open to the idea of using cadavers for experiments. Tone. The tone of Stiff is evident in the first few pages. Although the subject is cadavers and the details are often gross, Roach's descriptions and side notes are hilarious. Delivery. Roach is telling the readers of the strange lives of bodies post-mortem and the different ways cadavers help improve science. Throughout the book, Roach gives insights on places she's been, such as colleges, medical facilities, and countries. This shows the reader that Roach is well-knowledged in her medical field. Personally, I like this book. I chose to read it because for my career, I would like to go into forensic pathology, so I thought this was the perfect book to get started. By reading this, I have learned a lot. I learned that heads were basically the most important part of the body when cutting into cadavers, and that a person can learn so much from just cutting into a dead body. The only downfall I find in the book is that the author did make a lot of jokes during her writing. Yes, it was funny, but at the same time, I would like it to be more serious so I can understand what she was talking about more. Like Roach said, anyone who is interested in watching crime scene movies or looking into a career that involves forensics, I think this book is good for them because not only does it get you started for what is to come when going to college for your career, but it's just an interesting topic to talk about. I think the book Stiff by Mary Roach fits into American literature because not only does it talk about life, like the cycle of death,
It includes pathos, logos, and ethos, which is seen in a lot of American literature. It also uses symbols to indicate how medical examiners examine the body.